My friend used to pay $163 for car insurance. Now look how much he pays. Most insurance companies are charging extra. They don't want us to know that there's an easier way to get cheaper insurance. All you have to do is go to the link below and get a quote in under 2 minutes. You just put in your information, and then it compares all the different insurance companies to make sure that
know for certain if and when someone has fully recovered from a concussion.
We've got various different tools, but none of them are perfect at this point.
Thinking of the longevity of me playing, get the ball out. If I'm getting sacked, just fall down, don't try to be a superhero.
Making this quarterback's comeback in front of a national audience highly anticipated and debated. Jesse Kirsch, NBC News.
All right, finally this hour, the main event. We might be business in the front here, but a New York man is having a party in the back after winning this year's USA Mullet Championship.
Scott Salvador of Stillwater, New York, beat out hundreds of mullet enthusiasts for the top spot. The winner was announced live on the Today Show over the weekend.
And the coveted 2022 USA Main Event Mullet Championships, your winner is Scott Salvador.
Oh, yeah! What a moment. What a moment. Joining us now is the mullet champ himself, Scott Salvador. Thank you so much for joining us. Congrats on the win. Thousands of people voted in the competition. You came out on top. I mean, it's been 48 hours now. Has it sunk in? How does it feel to be the USA Mullet Champion?
It feels pretty good. Thanks for having me. Feels good. I feel such an overwhelming support from my community. This whole contest kind of stayed at a local level. So I feel like the top 25, we all had very, very good mullets. I mean, we're the top 25. So staying at the local level, I know I had the local support. It's such a nice feeling. It's been sinking in over the last couple of days. I've had a good feeling we were going to win just because we had faith in it. And I wasn't surprised when they announced the victor, that's for sure, because I knew the support I had just right next to me the whole time.
Scott, it is a great looking mullet. I have to say, you've got some length there. That was probably part of the reason you won. But I heard that you've cut it off once before. Right before you got married? How's your wife feeling about your mullet now?
It was before we got engaged. She was moving her whole life from Brooklyn to little old Stillwater, and she wasn't happy about it. She tells the story. She goes, we were going to a nice fancy cocktail restaurant in New York City, and I looked like Lord Farquaad. She's like, you look like the first time you ever used a blow dryer. My hair was poofed out. So she was upset. She's changing her whole life, and I couldn't even change my hair. So I cut it off for her, and I felt like a part of me died.
That's a good picture without the mullet.
I think you said that your neck started to get cold after you cut it off, right?
I had some serious cold neck problems.
Scarf.
Such an issue.
Use a scarf.
So winning the championship means you walked away with $2,500 plus prizes from event sponsors, bragging rights. I mean, what's next? Do you keep the mullet? Can you do this again? Are you retiring from competition? What's next for you?
I mean, besides global fame, that is.
Yeah, I have an automatic spot into next year's competition, so I do plan on competing again. I'm not cutting this thing off. I would consider that to be self-harm. Just after the first time I cut it off, I was, I just felt like a part of me was missing. So the mullet is here to stay. It matches my identity and my uniqueness. I really enjoy it. As for what's next, I'm not quite sure. Wherever the world takes me, life's a garden, dig it, and that's Joe Dirt.
Wow. Scott, for all those people out there that are looking at you and thinking, I need to grow my mullet, do you have any tips? What's the best thing? Is it extra conditioning? What do you have to do?
I'm a little au naturel. This is a pretty natural mullet for me. The mullet, you don't just choose a mullet. You don't just say, hey, I want a mullet. The mullet's going to have to choose you.
Oh, that's some good advice.
That's good. And you call it, if I recall, we had nicknames for all of them on Saturday morning. Yours is the Lord's Drapes, right?
The Lord's Drapes. This is a gift from God. I'm a practicing Christian as well. Also, Theo Von, podcaster. I met him in New York City, and he said, dang, bro, you got the Lord's Drapes. So I kept that name for myself.
All right. It worked. It brought you the championship.
The mullet has to choose you, Jeff.
It does. Has it chosen you yet?
Not yet. It's coming close.
It's coming close. Maybe after this. Scott Salvador, thank you so much for joining us. Congrats again. We appreciate you taking some time to chat with us. All right. And that does it for this hour of Morning News Now.
The news continues right now. Stephanie Gosk in for Savannah Sellers.
I'm Joe Fryer. Right now on Morning News Now, rising risks. An early season surge of flu and RSV cases that's putting hospitals across the U.S. at capacity, with some doctors sounding the alarm over what's ahead for the winter.
There's a lot of concern that this is just the beginning of the respiratory viral season, and so many of us are very concerned about that.
We're going to break down what's behind the spike in cases and how you can keep your family safe this winter. Signs of escalation. Russia has accused Ukraine of preparing a dirty bomb to use on the battlefield, but U.S. and Ukrainian officials have denied any such plans. We'll bring you the latest from the front lines of the war, as attacks on Ukraine's energy grid have left more than 1 million Ukrainians without power. Face Off. We are getting set for the first and only debate in Florida's race for governor. How tonight's showdown could shake things up in the election as early voting gets underway across Florida this morning. And in it to win it. Are you feeling lucky this morning? Well, today could be your day. The Powerball jackpot is now more than $600 million, making it one of the largest prizes in history. We'll tell you what that much money could get you and what your odds are of winning it all. Spoiler alert. Small. Very small. But it's fun to dream, right?
Oh, absolutely. Buy the ticket.
All right. We are lucky to have Stephanie with us this morning, and we are going to begin with the new warning amid an alarming rise in flu cases among children. 75% of pediatric hospital beds nationwide are now being used to treat an array of respiratory illnesses. That includes the flu.
Health officials are now sounding the alarm, warning of a severe outbreak ahead of the holidays. NBC News correspondent Blaine Alexander is outside of the CDC in Atlanta with the latest.
Well, good morning. The CDC is warning that flu cases are on the rise across much of the country, most notably perhaps right here in the South. Now, part of the concern is that we're seeing more cases much earlier in the season than usual, and experts say that could mean a long winter ahead. After 2 years of pandemic precautions, this morning flu season is back with a dangerous vengeance, overwhelming hospitals and stretching medical resources.
You're seeing a tidal wave sweeping across this country right now.
In Northern Virginia, one high school canceled all weekend activities after nearly half the student body came down with flu-like symptoms. And with cases across the country rising in recent weeks, experts are predicting a rough few months ahead.
It could be a really bad harbinger of the winter if that's also combined with a COVID-19 surge.
Young children have been hit especially hard.